Today I'm out here on this 2025 CF Moto Ibex 450. Now guys, I've never ridden this bike before, but in the end of today's video, I should have a much better idea of what this thing is all about. You guys stick around for it, the chase score at the end of the video. I'm Chaseontwowheels. Welcome to our first ride. Parallel twins, baby. They never disappoint. You know what also never disappoints? Get yourself a cardo for music, talking shit to your buddies. Discount code right over there. You're welcome. Let's go ride that thing. Alrighty guys, that's what it looks like and that's what it sounds like. Now before we get to go ride this thing, we are lucky enough to have ourselves a sponsor for this video, which is Brake Free. If you guys have never heard about a Brake Free, it is this little light up device that just attaches to the back of your helmet, and using the accelerometer on the inside of it, it can let people know if you are slowing down. Fun fact, if you don't use the brakes on your motorcycle, obviously the brake light is never going to turn on. If you're like me and you engine brake a lot, you're slowing down a lot and letting nobody behind you know that you are slowing down. With a Brake Free, anytime you are slowing down, this thing lights up. There's a couple different options that you can do and have it lit up, and it makes you way more freaking visible on the road, which is going to help you not get rear-ended by a car or another rider. So all you got to do is have this little GoPro mount on the back of your helmet. You just put this thing back there and pop it on, and boom, when you get going, it brightens up. This is probably one of the best safety devices you can have for riding. There's no wires, there's no app. You literally charge it with USB-C, you pop it onto the back of your helmet, and you are good to go. I love these devices. Ever since I found out about them, I have been wearing them on my helmet because I'm trying to stay safe out here, guys. Also, I got you guys a 10% discount code if you want to grab one for yourself. Links in the description. Thank you, Brake Free, for sponsoring this video and keeping me more visible on the road. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I got a bike to go ride. All right, my friends, thank you for sitting through the ads. You guys allow us to keep rocking this channel out. Alrighty, let's get on the old Ibex 450, and by old, I mean new. And boom, there we are. Let's get her cranked up. All right. So guys, I tell you guys every time, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and because of this low seat height, I have actually bent legs today. Keep in mind, I do have my Alpine Stars like 80V boots on, so they are a little bit thicker, but my legs are very bent on this motorcycle. Now, talking about modes real quick, the bike doesn't have any different engine modes, but we can hold this ABS button, and it will turn the bike into off-road mode, which it basically takes a rear wheel ABS and it turns it off. So that's how to initiate off-road mode. If we hit that one more time, we'll go back into normal mode. But other than that, there are no modes for this motorcycle. And with that being said, I think we should get going here. Now, you guys that are subscribed, look, I appreciate you guys so much. But I don't trust YouTube to let you guys know when we send videos out or put them out. So what we have is a newsletter. I email you guys once a week, letting you know what's happening around the channel. So if you guys want to join that newsletter, I'll put a link in the description down below. Thank you so much for whoever signs up for that. And also, we let you know some secret stuff here and there. So if you want to be on the On2 crew, that's how to join. But let's get going on this Ibex. All right, Ibex 450, I really enjoyed your sporty brother, and I have a feeling I'm going to love the shit out of you. Let's find out. Alrighty guys, this is the first ride. Let's talk body position on the Ibex 450. First off, seat-wise, I am sitting so much lower than I expected to be sitting on this motorcycle. The seat's comfortable and wide, and I appreciate that, but I'm sitting so low in the bike that my lower legs are a little more crunched up than I kind of wish they were. My upper half is okay. It's pretty upright and my arms are a little down and in front of me. I love the upper half, but I feel a little crunched in the lower half, and I do know that there is a rally seat that's a little taller. I think I would really love the rally seat on this bike. It's just for a taller rider. You guys know I'm 5'10". If you were 6 foot, I think you might be a little crunched up on this bike, and you definitely don't want to be crunched up on a bike that's supposed to be going off-road and potentially touring, you know what I mean? So I think the seat height might be a little too low, but that also is awesome for my shorter guys and gals out there, because it's going to be a lot easier to flat foot on the ground. So it's kind of pros and cons. If it were me, I would have the rally seat instantaneously. Matter of fact, this is a loaner bike that we're going to have for a month or so. And CF Moto have already given, what the hell is happening with that guy? CF Moto has already gotten me a rally seat, so we're going to be installing it, but obviously I wanted the bike totally bone stock for the first ride. So guys, let's talk about the what's powering the Ibex 450 here. It's going to be a CF Moto's 450cc parallel twin. You guys know I love parallel twins. Power-wise, we're looking at about 44 horsepower and just above 32 foot-pounds of torque. The bike is going to weigh a little under 400 dry, so you're probably looking at right at 400 pounds wet. And it's got a 4.7 gallon gas tank, I believe, which is massive for a 450cc bike. Very similar, it's the exact same engine as the 450 SS, the 450 NK, and the 450 CLC. Obviously, I believe they're all tuned slightly differently. So, you know, CF Moto getting use out of having that one power plant that they put in multiple motorcycles. So it'll be interesting to see how this bike adapts to having that different power, or that same power plant. And also, just to note, if you guys aren't caught up on all of our 450 SS content, we had one for quite a while. We actually did our giveaway last season. We have a giveaway show if you guys aren't familiar. We gave away a 450 SS, and I loved that bike. The 450 power plant from CF Moto, the parallel twin, is probably in my top, I don't know, 3 or 4, top 4, let's just say top 5. It's one of my top 5 favorite engines currently on the market. So I really love the way it delivers power. So I'm watching very closely how this bike rides, because I'm very familiar with that engine. So guys, as we're riding around in the city, how does the bike handle? First off, this bike feels incredibly light. And when you mix that with these wide handlebars, you have plenty of positioning and what is that? You have plenty of, I need the word, control, I guess. You have plenty of control of this bike. It does have that larger front tire, so while it easily goes in directions and you can control it left and right, it does take time to actually progress into that direction. So I'll show you guys. I go sideways and then it takes the bike a minute to get there, and that's only because of that larger front tire, because this bike is made for on and off-road use. So I'm happy that front tire is there, but it does come at the detriment of a little bit of the agility of the motorcycle. Let's get in that left lane. As you guys can see though, a very light motorcycle does not take any energy to get it going in those different directions. We're all just slamming on brakes for no reason. And one of the things that I really love about that parallel twin, guys, is it has such ample power to get you around and get you going. We're going to be getting on the highway later on, and I'll show you guys it can even handle the highway. Well, there's a lot of gravel in the road. I'm glad I didn't hit that. Oh, a red Ferrari? You don't say. We'll go check out the red Ferrari. But yeah, guys, very fun, very punchy power. We'll talk about power later on, but God, dog, can we all just appreciate? I don't get to be behind one very often, so let's soak this moment in. Where are my car people at? You guys like Ferraris? How do we feel? Better question, where are my F1 people at? How many of you guys watch F1? My wife and I are massive fans. All right, let's follow the Ferrari. That being said, we're McLaren fans. Yes! Yes, the sound. Haha. All right with that Ferrari. Hell yes! Oh, that's such a beautiful car. Oh, you're focused. You're whatever. You have a car worth more than my net worth. So guys, the cool thing about this parallel twin is the amount of power it has on the street is awesome. It's not going to just throw you off of the motorcycle, though this bike very easily wheelies, but I feel like it is a perfect balance of weight and power, especially for city use. You're not in one of those situations where you got a heavy bike but it's fast, and you know, sometimes you can get a light motorcycle that's really flicky but it's slow. I love the power delivery. It's strong, it's thick. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it just feels really good for city riding, and it mixes well with the weight of this motorcycle. I love this bike for city riding. Matter of fact, I might say that the Ibex 450 is probably my favorite use case of the 450 power plant for city riding. I know a lot of you guys probably like, really, over the NK, and yeah, I think so, because the handlebars here are so wide. I'm higher up on the motorcycle. I feel more comfortable with this bike in the city than I did the 450 NK, so very impressive bike here for city riding. It's also light and just whatever, dude. You can just take this thing wherever you need to go. If I needed to filter through traffic, if it was legal, I could. And the stepping off the motorcycle to get your feet down is also incredibly easy on this motorcycle. Wow, we're stopping. Okay. I've been surprised with the 450 engine for highway use. So I'm not nervous for this, but I am curious with such a light motorcycle with that bigger front tire. I assume a lot of you guys might be looking at getting one of these and commuting with it. So seeing how it handles the highway is going to be interesting. We don't have a ton of wind protection up front, so this will be interesting. You are able to turn traction control off on the rear, and that is essentially wheelie mode. So if you do that, the bike will be able to wheelie. Just a heads up there on that. Of course, we are an entirely legal channel. It would never do wheelies on a motorcycle, so we will not be doing those wheelies today. What we are going to be doing today is finding out how fast a 2025 CF Moto Ibex 450 can go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour. All right, my friends, you can stop asking, Chase, how fast does a 2025 CF Moto Ibex 450 go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour? I've heard your questions, and today we answer them. Do we start this in second? That's too low, because I got the shift light on already. All right, guys, if I don't get hit by this van, let's find out. On your mark, get set, and go. Probably could have done second, and 80 is coming up right there. That's 80, ladies and gentlemen, in fifth. Wow, okay, cool. All right, we're on the highway, and my goodness gracious, it is windy, my lord. So guys, what was the time on the 40 to 80? That is how fast this thing will go. And as you can see, we are going about 80 miles an hour now in 6th gear at around 7,000 RPM. So we still got some space to go. You could probably just barely scratch triple digits on this bike, though none of you guys would do that, of course, right? Because it's not legal. All right, so we're here on the highway, and now as far as comfortability, I'm getting some vibrations in my handlebars. I'm getting a very acute vibrations in my foot pegs that I'm able to tell. It's not ideal, but I don't think it's like a commuter killer. So yeah, the vibrations in my foot pegs aren't great, but I don't think they would stop me from wanting the motorcycle. I will say, wind-wise, I'm feeling wind on my upper body. I don't feel it till well over my visor on my helmet, so that's actually impressive. But, so this thing's doing a lot of work. The problem is, when I get to about right here, so right at my shoulder blades, is where I'm feeling a lot of wind. I have the dash up all the way, by the way, single hand. This moves up and down. This is fantastic. I really, if I was gonna do commuting on this bike, I would want a bigger actual screen, which should be really easy. I don't know if CF Moto makes that or not yet, but if I was looking at doing commuting, I might want to upgrade that just to have a little more protection on my sides. Power-wise, I really don't need anything else here on the highway, and I will note the bike does not have cruise control, which does suck. I do feel like this bike could be a great commuter bike, but as far as touring, I don't know if I would want to do an all-day touring situation. I could probably easily knock out 4 to 5 hours, but if I was going to do any more than that, I would need a bigger screen, and I would really like cruise control. So that does kind of suck, but it is what it is. This bike is, what, $6,500? Can't really complain about too much there. I will note, with that lighter weight and the taller profile of this bike, I am feeling the wind kind of push me around a bit here on the highway. The bike doesn't feel as planted as I kind of wish it did, and there's really not much we can do about that. The larger front tire is actually going to help that out, but the bike is just relatively light, so you're going to feel that when you're on the highway for an extended period of time. But that finishes up the highway, guys, so let's get the bike tipped over into this turn and see how it feels. We will trail brake into it, because I just did Champ School, or Champ U. You know, the Ibex 450 has made me realize something that is a huge problem. I guess not a huge problem. By the way, the KYB suspension feels great. It's a little stiff on this bike, and I am kind of enjoying that giant log on the side of the road. Awesome, love that. I am noticing something that the Ibex 450 is helping me realize, and it's the issue with the vast majority of cost-effective motorcycles, specifically ones from China, and it's that the suspension, at least on the front of these bikes, is a little too soft, speaking generally. And the reason this bike makes me realize that is because the KYB suspension that this bike has on it is fully adjustable. Can we get between there? Yeah, what's up, Harley guy? We have a fully adjustable KYB front suspension on this bike. It's a little harder than I think it probably should be. If I was going to do off-road, I might soften it up a little bit. But for road riding, it's been fantastic, and it's making me realize that is the key element that I'm noticing on a lot of more cost-effective bikes, is that they all have softer suspension, and having one that has a harder setup is feeling absolutely phenomenal. Like, tipping this bike over, it felt great. It was locked in place, which is kind of surprising given that larger rear tire. Like, CF Moto is just, I think they're coming out of the gate swinging with this bike. They're trying to give you guys a ton of motorcycle for not a lot of money, and that adjustable KYB front suspension on a bike that costs $6,500 is absolutely insanity. And it feels great, and that's not me not even adjusting it for my weight and height and everything. Like, I could literally go in there and get it adjusted and feel just right, and I'm not even needing to do that right now. So that is super impressive. Now let's talk about the gearing on the motorcycle. I will say the shift pedal, the feeling when you shift is a little light. I wish I had a little more feeling there. I get a tiny click, but you know, on an ADV bike, I've got my ADV boots on today, and you know, those are thick boots, and I can just barely feel the click when I'm going into gears. Now obviously I have a gear indicator here that looks fantastic, so it's not like I'm wondering what gear I'm in. I just personally like a little more feeling there. And as far as the brakes, we have Chaseontwowheels brakes in the front and rear, which if I remember correctly are Spanish Brembos, and I've had no problem. They have some good bite, kind of impressed with them. Again, on a motorcycle that's $6,500, I'm trying to factor that in to my judgment on this thing, but I haven't came into a situation where I feel like I need more braking, or if I feel more like I need more brake feel. They have a soft grab up front, and they progressively get harder. And that's one of the nice things about having a softer, harder suspension. The bike doesn't dive quite as much. But yeah, the brakes feel great. The lever feels great. I love I guess I will talk about the levers here in a minute. Oh, I'm in 6th gear. Oh, shit. Oh, nice job. Transmission, I was not going at all, and I was able to go from 6th to 1st. Bro, that was great. unexpected. Yeah, this suspension, I wish it was a little harder, but other than that, God, it works great. All right, guys, barely got done talking about the brakes. Gonna go into the dash and the controls now. We are blazing through this. So guys, we'll start out with the controls here. Very similar and probably the exact same controls as you're gonna know from the 450 SS and the 450 NK. The exact same buttons, though the hazard light does look a little different, but on the left side, almost the exact same controls that I'm used to. They are very easy to navigate, and they have a surprisingly good click on them. I did not expect the controls to have as good of a click, specifically the turn signals. And then on the other side, you have the brights for your lights or whatever. Levers feel good. The clutch is a little light, but if I'm going to be doing a lot of off-roading, a lot of modulating of the clutch, a lot of stuck in traffic, that lighter clutch is actually going to feel pretty decent. And both the clutch lever and the brake lever are adjustable very easily. I actually like the levers a lot. They have like a little bit of a texture to them, and it allows my glove to get a better grip on them, so I have more control, and they are blacked out, which is great. Moving right along, we can talk about the dash. It's a 5-inch TFT dash, and it's relatively simple, but I think CF Moto freaking nailed it. It looks good. It looks very high quality. And I mean, guys, look at that. Like, that is designed really well. I think it looks cool. And the really neat thing about it is, without knowing anything about this motorcycle, I can hit enter, and it is a very easily understood dash. And I'm not saying that CF Moto watches my videos. I'm not saying that their designers care about any at all of my opinion. But when you go into the bike information and you go to turn traction control on and off, it lights up the rear tire because that's the traction control it's turning off, and it lights it up red so you know what part of the motorcycle you're affecting. That is exactly like Ducati has been doing for years now. And when Ducati first did that, I said on that video, I was like, this should be the standard. It makes everything obvious. Look at this. Rear wheel ABS off. It literally highlights the rear brake rotor. I don't know. I'm just saying that CF Moto are literally doing picture perfect what I would ask them to do. Very clear screen, very easy to see all of the information, easy to get through it. And I don't know if you guys are watching my finger and watching the screen. Look how responsive this screen is. You can connect your phone to it with the CF Moto app. You can do your music. I'm not going to get into any of that because obviously I don't own this motorcycle, but just, I want you guys to see what's available for $6,500. There is no excuse. Any company making a motorcycle right now, the vast majority of them are more expensive than this, and their dashes aren't as good. There is no excuses anymore. I think CF Moto is putting that to bed with this screen. Holy crap, that was so much. Thank God I have this bike for another like month or so I can make more content. But guys, I think I've hit on everything on this motorcycle. So now we got to talk about the chase score and see how it plays out. I should give the people a little off-road tease, right? Yeah, we'll do that. All right, guys, off-road tease of the Ibex 450. There you go. Now you can say the first ride I went off-road with the Ibex 450. Alright, I'm gonna stop messing around.
Alright guys, so let's get into the chase score for the Ibex 450. For throttle response, I'm gonna give this bike a 6. It had a predictable but not really exciting throttle, which is great for new riders but lacks a bit of an edge. Now for agility, I'm gonna also give it a 6. That lightweight chassis really does help, but with that big front tire, it slows down the steering input. Brakes wise, I'm also gonna give it a 6. They had solid performance, but not specifically sharp or confidence inspiring. Acceleration wise, I'm going to give the Ibex a 5. It was good enough for city and off-road for sure, but it does feel a bit winded when it gets on the highway. Now for suspension, this is where this bike shines. I'm giving it a 9. Fully adjustable KYB on a budget bike is exceptional. This is awesome. Now for comfort, I gotta give it a 5 again. Cramped legs, foot peg buzz, and a poor windscreen protection make longer rides pretty tough. Although I'm hopeful that the rally seat will really help that seating position, but I have to judge the bike as it is. So for tech, I gotta give the bike a 4. Now the dash looks great, but with no cruise control and no ride modes, there's not a lot of tech to really talk about. Now for ease of use, I'm gonna give the bike a 6. It has that low seat height and simple interface, which are definitely wins, but it has that vague shifting that holds it back. Versatility wise, I'm gonna give it a 7. It was great in the city, could do some light touring, and has great potential off-road from what I'm seeing, so I could really see somebody getting a lot of use out of this bike. Now for fun for money, I have to give this thing a 9. For the amount of dollars you are paying for this motorcycle for what you are getting is unbelievable. CF Moto is really shaking up this segment, and I can't wait to watch what happens. Now if you have been doing the maths, that means this bike gets a ride score of 32 and a usability score of 31, giving the CF Moto Ibex 450 a total chase score of a 63.
All right, guys, you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comments on the chase score. So guys, wrapping this video up, holy crap, what CF Moto are giving you for $6,500. I've been hearing people say this bike has been getting good reviews by other people that have reviewed it. Dork in the road, I'm looking at you. But I always come into my first rides kind of, you know, other people could be looking for different things. So I try not to get too excited or get my hopes up. But this might be one of the best examples CF Moto has done of bringing a bike into the industry that's affordable and gives you more like creature comfort nice things than bikes that cost twice what this bike cost. I think for the money, this bike is absolutely insane. The riders, I think, that would really enjoy this. If you're riding in the city, I love the body position and how comfortable I am and how tall up I am on the bike. I love it for city riding. I think you could do light touring with it with no problem. There's ways to get around cruise control or get cruise control if you want to do it manually. And so touring, definitely there. You can get bags on it and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, my off-road crowd. I am having to make assumptions with the off-road things here on this bike. There's other videos of people taking it off-road, but the beauty of this is I'm gonna have this motorcycle for a month. I will be taking it off-road. From what I can tell right now, I think it's going to be fantastic, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, you could definitely get this for off-roading, but what I will still do is put this thing to the test off-road. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see that, because I definitely do. So guys, that's all I got for you on the Ibex 450. You guys make sure to subscribe for future content. Shout out to CF Moto for hooking us up with the loaner. We're gonna have it for about a month, so we're gonna try to make as much content on it as we possibly can. You guys let them know you appreciate it in the comments down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, do all that good stuff that you guys know we need to help push this content out. And share this video out with somebody that you want to get one of these and ride around, whether it be sleigh in the city, doing some off-road stuff. I love this bike for so many freaking reasons, and I think a lot of you guys are going to too. All right, guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys go out there and ride safe. We'll have a first ride playlist, by the way, in the description down below. Click that if you want to watch us ride more motorcycles. All right, guys, later.